What's up, Mystic Manifesting family? Nick with Mystic Manifesting here, and I just recorded the first video for Muscular Mystic, which is an offshoot of this channel. It's just more of my personal life. I'm trying to vlog some stuff and kind of give a little bit of my fitness journey and what I've been going through there and the relationship of moving the body and pushing the body to its limits and how that works with your mind and how the mind muscle connection is very much, to me, a great interpretation and representation of manifestation. But I always say it's any form of art and creativity that is great for expressing yourself and your passions. And it's just a direct link between imagination, which then creativity, which is the output of whatever you're doing. Anyway, if you're interested in that, I'll put the link down below. And I'm sure I've made a community post at this point already, but um, maybe not. No, because I want to put some little clips in there, which is something I don't even do here. Maybe I'll start putting. Nah, I'm not going to do it. I was just say Gary did a nice job where he put a nice little like intro for the videos, and I never put it in because whatever apps I have on my phone to render stuff, it just it whitewashes everything, overexposes it. So anyway, can't fuck this up. It's all working out in our favor, right? I want to kind of talk about the same thing I just talked about in that video, just in case that's not up in time. And I owe you guys a video for tomorrow, Tuesday. I think it's October 8th. But I want to talk about giving yourself credit for where you are, being thankful for where you are right now, and to stop beating yourself up by the past. Stop beating yourself up over something that happened in the past, because when you do that, you're beating yourself up now in the present. And if you're so focused on the past and the problems back then, whenever you think about the future, you're only projecting those problems into the future. So your present moment, which is the moment of creation, is only centered right now on past trauma and bullshit and future fear and anxiety. This moment has to be filled with gratitude and acknowledgement of your successes in the past. Nobody has failed consistently and just been nothing for their entire past, because you wouldn't have lived very long if you didn't. Every problem you've ever had, every traumatic thing you ever went through, every issue that's ever come up, that shit has led you to where you are now, and you're still alive and you're still here, which means all that stuff you beat. You are undefeated against life. However old you are, that is how many years of victory you have. Look at it that way. Because remember, we got to change the way you look at things, and things you look at change. That's a corny cliche line, but it's very true. Your reality is whatever you focus on. Your focus determines your reality. Let's take a Star Wars line, but it's very true. Your focus determines your reality. So if you're focused on fear based on past things that hurt you, I'm sorry, I'm choking today. Or coughing, I don't know. Maybe it's too much smoke. Uh, anyway, if you're focused on the past, your present's now occupied by that. And the few times you could break away to the future, it's negative, right? I keep saying it, but you know the videos. I repeat, I repeat, I repeat. So you're kind of with me. You're staying with me, right? Follow me, follow me, follow me. Where are we going now? We're going to talk about present moment being positive. In the present moment, if I give myself credit, hey, I'm undefeated against life. Fuck all those negative circumstances. I beat them all. And all those things just become something swept under the rug, as in, I don't pay them any attention, because whatever you realize, you energize, right? Reverend Ike, realize, energize. So if I don't give it any power, it's just like, yeah, I know bad stuff happened, but I beat it, and that's it. And you start reflecting on the beautiful things, like, you know, I remember having this, even if it's a relationship you don't want anymore, you reflect, and maybe that relationship was horrible. It's something you don't even want to manifest back anymore, whatever. But you had good memories there. Instead of like just blanking out entire periods of your life, it's like, that was a really good date. That was a good person. I forgive that person. Now you're not carrying anger and guilt and resentment and whatever else other negative emotions you could bring. By forgiving everybody, this is another little offshoot with forgiveness. You've kind of freed yourself now. I'm not worried about what that person thinks. I'm not worried about dealing with the pain and suffering from that past relationship, from any of that other stuff. You freed yourself from that. And you just think back, man, the only thing you remember are good memories. It's like, man, I've had a beautiful, loving life. Bad things tried to happen and I beat them all. My life is good right now. You know, there's still things I want, and maybe it's not perfect at the moment, but my record is I'm undefeated, so I know I'm going to get through this. I wonder how I'm going to get through this. Wouldn't it be wonderful if I won the lottery? That'd be crazy. Wouldn't it be wonderful if a business I've always wanted to start took off. Wouldn't it be wonderful if my specific person came back into my life? Oh man, that would be crazy. How would that feel? Now I'm sitting here. You get a nice comfortable chair like this one, which was a gift to me from an old cleaning staff lady. Um, it's like you get a nice comfortable place and start, man, put on some nice relaxing music. I just did all this stuff right now, so I'm relaying to you what I just did, and something that I've been doing. And it's like, wow, I've really come a long way. Think about this. Think about how far you came in the past year. I saw this thing, and it's great. I love the social media does this. Snapchat does it and TikTok does it. I don't really know if I think Facebook does it too. Yeah, Facebook does do it, but not every year. But it's like this time last year will always come up for me. And I just saw this thing on Flex Entertainment, and it was like this time last year. Then it was like one this time 2 years ago, and it's like wow, 2 years ago I was in a really depressed place this time of year. Last year I was in like my winter arc a little bit. Well, no, because I wasn't heartbroken because I was with SP and stuff like that. But it was just like I was in a rebuild and like self love phase and like a forgiveness phase and this enlightened phase. But it's like I made like this little dark edit. I'm trying to be edgy. Oh, I'm going to my winter arc, but I made that and I'm like, wow, my body looks way different than it does now. I thought I was looking good back then, but it's like, nah, I actually look skinny. And then you look back 2 years, man, look how fucking fat my face is. And I go back and I look 2 years even on this channel. And I talk about this in that video I just made, but it's like you see I go through my phase with the suits. I had my little Johnny Depp mustache and stuff where I thought I was real cool when I started this channel, but how nervous I was sitting on a couch in my parents' basement. And then what happened in that time? I had manifested a free condo to live in, and then when the time came, it was like, oh well, I guess I'm gonna have to pay rent. I started fearing that, but I'm like, no, it's cheap rent, and it was really cheap rent. And then when it was time to sell the place, it was like, do you want to buy it? And I wound up getting it for like 40, 50 grand less than it was worth. And I was like, holy shit. And then the interest rates that were through the roof at the time, I got 2% knocked off. And I mean, it's not a big number, but it's big in, hindsight. Um, but it's like all the things I had manifested, the SP coming back, which I already had when I started the channel, but then I went through another breakup during all of that. You guys saw that. You got to witness. You got to see me fall apart and rebuild again, which is a unique thing. And, um, that's why I always like to give the real me and show you what I've gone through. And so you could see it's like, here's the fucking receipts, here's the fuck ups, here's the successes. But I go back now and it's like, you really only think back to like, if you go back to things that happened a long time ago, you become stuck in that loop. And I've done this before in terms of a specific person, meaning my relationship. The more I focused on like the bad shit that I experienced with her, and it was a long, long time ago, personality traits of that ugly version would start coming back up. And I went through this with bosses too. I remember these bosses being really cool dudes before they were bosses. And I was like, wow, I really like these guys. They're cool as hell. And then somebody put a thought in my head that, hey, they're jerk offs. And then I started thinking that. And then I started looking for all the little problems in the 3D. I was like, oh, here's a problem, here's a problem, here's a problem. And then they became that guy that left. They had no personality like that guy before. They became that guy later. The guy who left told me they would be a bigger jerk off than him. And basically, they became that. And I couldn't change that story. So I wound up changing the job. But even that was a whole nother success story. You guys know all these stories. If you don't and you're new to the channel, go back through the videos. I mean, there's like almost 400 videos. By the time this week's over, we'll probably be 370, 380. We'll have a lot of videos this week. But everything changes. That's another thing too. Life is always changing, and realizing wherever your focus goes, that determines your reality. Your focus determines your reality. So if I'm focusing only on beautiful things and life is constantly changing and life will be whatever you expect it to be, then only good things are going to happen. So even if this moment sucks, good things are going to happen. And look back, man, last year feels like ages ago, but really it was only 12 months ago, 52 weeks ago. That's not that long. Life goes by really quick. So things can change really quick. And time is only relative. If you've ever done a plank in the gym, that one fucking minute feels like an eternity. If you ever go to sleep and you sleep in for work and you want to get that one extra minute, you wake up 1 minute before your alarm clock, somehow that 1 minute feels like forever. You're having like 10 dreams in there and stuff. Time doesn't matter. But then there's times where you're hanging out and having a great time and you don't realize like you met up with your friends at 10 in the morning and it's now like 3 or 4 in the morning the next day. And it's like, where did the time go? That felt like 2 minutes. So that's where time is relative. And you have to realize, stop rushing things, stop feeling insecure, stop feeling like, oh, I'm not like I'm not doing enough, this is fucked up, whatever, realize that I'm kind of all over the place in this video, I think, but you guys seem to enjoy it because you're all still here. You know, time doesn't. That's when they say time doesn't matter, and I'm gonna make a whole nother video on time, I think. But when they say time doesn't matter, that's what they're saying. Is because it feels relative, and when you reflect on things, you realize that felt really like a really long time ago, but that felt like 2 minutes ago. You know, I go back, think back on high school. That was 9 years ago. Yeah, I'm 27 now. That's 9 years ago. Um, that's not even a decade. Well, it's almost a decade ago, and it's like that feels like a lifetime ago. I feel like I've lived a million lifetimes in 9 years, and it's like you think, man, I went through this whole depression phase. Like life is actually really long. Technically, it's like it goes by quick, but when you're living and loving each moment, it feels really long. Like the past 2 years since I've gotten really well, 3 years because I was doing it for three and a half years. I was doing it for really balls to the wall before this channel even took off. So about 3.5 years, it's like my life feels like I've lived a million lifetimes in 3.5 years. Like life just is long because I'm every day. It's passion and fun, but then there was also depression and heartbreak and hurt and like rebuilding in that time and so many things that happened. So that's why I want to say keep your heads up. Give yourself credit for how long you've come. Love yourself. Forgive yourself for everything that you quote unquote fucked up in the past because why? You can't fuck this up and it all worked out in your favor. Remember that you're undefeated against life. You've whooped life's ass every day for every year to this point in life. You have. Don't fucking argue with me because you're still alive. The worst thing that could happen is that you're dead and you didn't die. You lived. So you're technically undefeated. Maybe the battle against life, and it doesn't have to be a battle, but maybe at times it felt like it. I know for me it did. And that battle left you like Rocky after fighting Apollo Creed, all beaten and battered and like you're stuck in the hospital. But guess what? He healed up and he came back and he fought him again. Like you're going to keep fighting and you're going to win. Life is long and every moment can be beautiful. It gets even longer and more fun the more that you just choose to give your attention to the beautiful things in life. But anyway, I think that video is long enough. So I believe in you guys. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.